Welcome to this video where under finance we're now going to look at programs. Now you'll find this under the finance tab and programs, and it will load this screen. Now you won't actually have these in here. I'm just going to show you how to set up these particular programs, and essentially what these are is a quick way of creating a payment plan, so when you're on the call that you can process that payment quickly, but also it gives you the structure of who's on what payment plan, what program they're on, etc. So when I say program, it's more I guess of a payment program, if that makes sense, rather than a physical program. But you can obviously have different levels in here, you can have different price points in here, etc. So you typically kind of can have as many different programs in here as you want, but ultimately this is more about the program, as in where you're going to bill and how much you're going to bill, because that hangs all the structure together, and that then means obviously it relates the payments, means you can take payments on the phone, etc. Okay, so it's less about kind of the levels of access they get, it's more about the structure of the plan and the payment and how that's going to work. So when you first come in, you won't have any new programs. So what you need to do is add a program. Now, what I recommend is, you can see here we've got, in this demo here, we've got high ticket pay in full, high ticket payment plan, and high ticket deposit. Now, watch the video if you haven't already on the sports side about taking payments on the phones when you're doing the call. The reason I suggest you have these three kind of variants set up for your program is to basically have three easy ways to set up and take payments. So let me explain what I mean by that. Well, the first one here is probably the most important, which is the high ticket program deposit. You can call it whatever you want. Okay, you can just call it program deposit if you want. Okay, and essentially what this is that it's when you go to take a payment on the phone, it is your deposit, it's your first payment of that program from a client. Okay, so that means you can bill very quickly, you can do it very efficiently without having to waste clients' time, because there's nothing worse than deciding someone's going to buy and then you have to wait for them to process all this stuff and, oh, hold on a minute, let me click here and do this and do that. You want to be quick, swift, and be able to take that payment live on the phone, so you know that payment's gone through, so therefore they committed, they paid their whatever, 500,000 or whatever as a deposit, and that payment has actually been taken from their card without issue. Because obviously if there is any issues, either bank block it or there's no funds in the account, the worst thing you then want to do is have to call them back and try and get hold of them and all this kind of stuff. It just makes life really difficult. So we've made it easy by actually getting you to do the payment on the phone, and all we do is take their card and all that, and you can see that in the taking payments section. And what you basically would do then is be able to just select this take ticket program deposit, and that would take a predefined amount. So literally in 2 clicks you can go bing, bing, done, and it can then build the account. Okay, so all of that will become evident if you haven't already watched the actual video on support inside the software of taking payments. Okay, so watch that video if you haven't already. Just makes this easier, and you can obviously see who's on what program as well. So deposit is the key one, because that's the one that means you can get that first program payment out the way, and then once you get off the phone with them, then you can arrange the payment plan that you've discussed with them, because then you can really thoroughly check it. You're not going to get flustered, it's going to be easy. Okay, so really the two that you'll use directly on the phone is either the deposit or a payment plan. So deposit or pay in full. So I highly recommend you create these three levels just for ease of sake. Now, obviously, if you're selling more than one program, maybe you've got a downsell or whatever, then you probably do the same thing again and create a pay in full, deposit, and a payment plan as well. But most of you probably only have the one program you're selling. Okay, so let me walk you through how you would set this up. So the first thing we're going to do is create the deposit program. So I'm just going to call this a deposit. Okay. And I'm going to specify the currency. So let's say British pound here, and I'm going to put the price in as £500. It's not a recurring payment, okay, because ultimately that's it. It's not a recurring payment. It's a one-off payment that we're going to take on the phone. When someone says, yes, I want to do it, I'll pay £500 now, and then X amount over whatever the period is that they discussed with you that makes it suitable, that you're in agreement with. Could be a regular monthly payment for X number of months or whatever. We can set that up in a structure. But ultimately, this is all about that first payment of, yes, I want to do it. Great, let's take this deposit now to get you started in quick starting call, whatever you want. Take the money now, you input the card, I'll show you how to do that in that payment video, and then you're good to go. And this just makes it really quick and easy to do this, okay? So it's not a recurring payment, it's a one-off payment. Now, you've obviously got kind of contracts, which if you watch the contracts video, it's associated in here as well. It will have that in there, okay? And you can put any notes in there, but you don't need to if you don't want to. Watch the contracts video, it explains what that is, but you will need to assign a contract to this particular program as well. So we click save, okay? That's now got that particular deposit set up in here, and you can see we've got one contract but no people assigned to it. Okay, if we've made any mistakes, very easy, we can just come back in and edit it, but if we did, then obviously any changes will affect any contacts that are assigned to it. So be aware, if you are making any changes later on, it will affect anybody that's on here. So if I change this one now, it will make any changes, particularly to payment plans, it will throw them out. So please be aware of that. I could obviously view the thing again just to make sure it's kind of what's what. I can see that it's created on that date by me, etc. And I can also see anyone that once I assign people to it, which I show you how to do that on the payment plan video, then you'll be able to see how you assign it, and then obviously from that you can then see who's in here as well. Okay, so you create the first one, which is the initial just deposit. What I then suggest you do is you then create another one called Pay in Full. Okay, and this is obviously for people who want your high price program and are willing just to pay all in one go, say £2,000. It's not a recurring payment, and again you'd have your contract on there. Again, watch the video on that, which is a separate video in the support section, and you click save. Okay, so now we've got one program which is just the initial deposit. We've then got one which is the pay in full. Okay, so both of those we're going to do on the phone live with the client to make sure it bills straight away. Okay, and then the other one is a reoccurring payment. So we're going to call it payment plan. Okay, and this is going to be kind of basically we tick this box for reoccurring. All right, now what we're going to do here, let's say I want to bill them. Let's say I've agreed that they're going to pay £500 now for my £2,000 program, and it's going to be £600 a month. Okay, and it's going to be for every 1 month. Okay. And what this does, this basically sets it up, it's going to reoccur every month, okay? Now, when you then go in to actually do the billing, you can then set up more cycles on this of how many times you want to do it. Now, we haven't overcomplicated it here, but it just gives you an idea that in most cases, some people are going to just want to split it over, a set amount of months, okay? But obviously, when it comes to making the sale, you want to be as flexible as you can when it comes to making the payment. That's down to you to decide, but obviously what you can do is, this is just giving you a framework to make it easy to pull it up and then go, right, let's change this now to, £900 for 2 payments, okay? And you can do that in the section. When you're on the call live, you can then do it obviously on there. But I recommend that you don't do this part live on the call because you want to get it right, okay? You want to make sure it's structured right. But you want to write down, yeah, okay, Mark, we're going to take £500 now, and then we're going to take 3 payments of £600, and that's kind of then your course, and they're basically 30 days apart, okay? So if you just want to set up a rough payment plan in here with a recurring payment, it's going to recur every month. We're going to put the same contract on there again, just so we know, and that's just the terms and conditions, but again, watch that video and it'll do it. So essentially now what you've got is 3 different programs. You've got your payment plan, your pay in full, or your deposit, okay? And like I say, the pay in full and the deposit are the ones you use live on the phone, and the payment plan is the one that you use after you got off the phone with the person and follow the taking payments on the phone support video to actually show you how to do that. And that will then mean that you can set the payment plan up correctly, you can take your time over it, and you won't need to rush and make mistakes, okay? And then once you've got that, that will then show all the various people you've got on that program as well. So if we look at one here that I did a demo on, I've got 2 people on the pay in full one here, which if I now view it, I can actually see the assigned contacts on there. There's these 2 people here that are paid in full, no problem at all. I can see when it was done, all good, okay? So it makes it nice and simple, all right? So that's what your programs is. It's not like how they access your back-end program. It's actually to do with how we structure the payments to make it easy and quick for you to take a deposit or a pay in full live on the phone and bill it there and then to make sure it's gone through, and then set up after the call has happened your payment structure if they're on a payment plan to make it nice and easy to manage that process and get it all structured in. So just to be 100% clear, this is not to do with how you deliver your program. It is not to do with access to your back-end program. This is purely the structure of the program as far as the billing cycle and structure that we're going to be able to do so we can make a quick and easy payment on the phone, okay? And also then once we're off the phone, then take the relevant payment plan, set up correctly for that individual without having to do it quickly and fluster it and get it wrong on the phone. Okay, so that's how we do the payment plan. Like I say, you can add as many different levels in programs in here as you want, but the idea is to keep it nice and simple. And like I say, it can just cover that and make sure you're on the phone to do your payment plans nice and easy.